Never go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back for another week. How's it going?
And her too.
Please stop.
Oh, what's up?
How are ya?
I'm great. How
That's
are
a.
you?
I'm good, actually. It's a busy week this week, but we're trucking along. We're getting through it.
My God, it is.
I cannot complain about a busy week. It's better than having nothing to do, so
Um,
I'm gonna take that as a win.
Well, I'm excited to get some Apex in today.
Yeah, absolutely. As a follow-up from last week, I am now officially plat. I'm like almost plat 3 now, so goal
Did you get it that
achieved.
same night?
I did not. So I last Tuesday when I said when we were logging off that I was going to go get plat, I logged on and got absolutely rinsed all night. That was not fun. And I think I went down to like gold 2 at that point. I was like, okay, this is what I get for saying it's going to happen. And then I think it was like Thursday or something ended up happening. Sean and I really just went off and ranked, and we were working together really well. And I got it. And then I think the next day we got him into plat 4. So it's
Matt
all
said,
good.
Matt goes, entertain me, please. Flat boys for life.
We'll entertain you like one of your French girls.
Okay, Matt, get your PC back, please, so you can join the Plat Boys.
Yeah, a little update. Matt broke his PC, so that's cool.
Well,
Not actually.
he's like halfway there though. Like
Yeah.
we almost have his
He didn't actually break it.
feedback.
He had a corrupted hard drive, so we're helping him to fix it, and he's getting the hard drive replaced from the manufacturer for free. So at the end of the day, it's really just good experience for him in opening up his PC, learning the parts, and replacing things here and there. So I look at this
Here.
as a net positive, even though it sucks that you have to wait and not really be able to do anything for like 2 or 3 weeks with it while you're waiting for shipping and all of that bullshit.
Or just play Xbox.
True.
I had
But
to
who
create a
wants
Smurf
to do
account for
that?
him.
That is also true. We can talk about that later. But there's a lot of Apex stuff that I want to talk about, and we're going to jump right into it. Let's touch on headlines later on because I think that there's enough Apex content here that I think we can just roll right through. But there are some pretty funny gaming headlines that we do want to touch
Yeah.
on, and we're going to close out the show with those. But let's talk about season 14 because the trailer got released just a couple days ago. There's a lot of hype for the upcoming season that's going to be releasing next Tuesday, so a week from today. And we're excited to go over all the changes that we know of so far. Obviously, it's not everything. We don't have the entire patch notes, but we've got the early patch notes and some of the rumors and leaks that have all come out. Let's dive right into this. And I know we've got a long list of. We're gonna try and go through everything that we know so far, and we're gonna just talk through all these updates. So let's start off with what we know about the gun changes.
Yep.
So I'm
rip
gonna
it.
kick. I'm gonna kick it to you, and let me know what these changes to the SMGs are.
Okay, so for the SMGs, now there's a lot of weapon updates actually, which is exciting, and
Yeah.
that's also like rotating guns too. You know, you got stuff coming out of the care package. First one is lasers being added to SMGs. What we know about it is that apparently you're going to be able to turn it on and off,
Mhm.
and you're also going to be able to change the color.
Which I like.
So
I think it's cool. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be where you can change the color, but the color doesn't change for your enemies. It's always going to be one specific color for your enemies. It's more of a cosmetic for you, right?
I have no idea. I didn't see that. I
That's what
watched the
I've
video.
read. And I think
Okay.
that's how it is for like the red dot sites that you can change now. I think that's just a you thing in your enemies and kill cams and stuff. They just see like what the generic red is or whatever color the site is.
Okay.
So I would imagine that's going to be the case.
So this is one thing I didn't quite understand. I don't know if you read this somewhere, but for the SMGs, are they basically like the lasers are going to be used as like an increase for your hip fire, like a better hip fire?
Yeah, so ultimately it's going to be replacing the barrel. So SMGs will no longer use a barrel.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so it's not just like adding an attachment. They are taking the barrel away. So it's really trying to mitigate those long range SMG battles. Like you think about a car, you can almost kit a car out to be like an AR.
Or an
R99
R3.
R3 is an AR. But an R9 is similar in that way, where I feel like with the fire rate on an R9, you can't really kit it out as an AR like you can as much as a car.
Mhm.
But you're replacing the barrel, having a heavier focus on those close range gunfights and engagements. And ultimately, I think it's a good thing, and it's going to shake the meta up a little bit because you really have to almost treat an
Dedicate it.
SMG similar to how you would use like a shotgun, where you have to pretty much be fully close quarters combats. But I think it's great. It's gonna really tighten up that hip fire spread when you've got the laser on there. What I don't know is if there's gonna be multiple levels of the laser. Like, are there gonna be gray, blue, purple, gold, all of that, the different levels?
Mm.
Time will tell on that, but I'm
It could be basically like an attack, like a skull piercer or
mhm.
like a turbocharger. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
So a couple things that I'm interested to see how it's actually implemented, but ultimately I think this is a good change because it's going to shake the meta up. I feel like everything that they've implemented in this update, there's no actual new gun that they're bringing in, and some people are upset about that, others aren't. Personally, I'm not really upset that there's not a new gun. I think it's good that they're going to shake the meta up. There's a lot of changes to weapons that you can debate on if you think they're good or bad depending on your playstyle. Um, I typically, just the way that I'm comfortable with playing, I have an AR and as one weapon and an SMG and another. So I feel like this is, I don't know, I don't really have any opinion either way on
Mhm.
this SMG focusing on being that more close quarters combat gun and less of a mid range shooter, the way that you
I,
kit it out.
I think it's all encompassing though, because when we get to kind of more of the weapon changes, I think that SMG change will shake up the meta, but it's because of all the other changes too. So why don't we get into some of the other ones too?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into just weapon changes overall. Um, the wingman is going to see a change. That is now taking sniper ammo, and we'll have obviously extended sniper mags with it. So we have such a big emphasis on heavy ammo in the current meta that they're trying to shake that up a little bit, get less heavy ammo into the in-game economy and put a focus on diversifying that ammo type. So the wingman's going to see sniper ammo with sniper mags. The Spitfire is going to be changed to light ammo, so that will have, which to me, just the way that I think about it, it's a little strange thinking about an LMG using light ammo with a light
Yeah,
mag.
yeah.
Um, but it's
See,
fine.
but
I
my
personally,
question though,
yeah,
my question though, because you're changing ammo types. I understand the idea for the economy of changing the ammo types, but is there going to be any damage profile change? That I haven't read anywhere. I don't think that they are going to change.
I don't think there will be. And the only reason why I don't think there is because when you use the car, it
You can use
you can use both
heavy or light.
heavy or light, and that doesn't change the damage profile. So that is an interesting one. Um, and Sean made a good point here of like if you're using the wingman, which is sniper ammo, it shakes up what you can keep in your backpack too because there's less ammo per stack in there. So
Yeah,
with the heavy ammo, you don't really have to take up a lot of slots in your backpack because you can get up to 60 rounds in one slot.
right.
Yeah, I mean you can carry 120 rounds on a wingman and you're fine.
Hmm.
But with sniper, it's a lot less. What's the max on a sniper? I think it's like 24 or
I
something
think
per
it's
slot.
yeah, something like that.
So you're pretty much cutting that over in half. So that shakes things up a little bit too. And so Sean, that's a great point. And yeah, he just confirmed his 24. So
Before.
that is a little different. But I think it's a good change overall. For me personally, I think the Spitfire being a light ammo gun benefits me a little bit more because I am a light ammo fiend. Just the way that I have decided to play. I mean, primarily using an R3, and then the submachine gun of choice, at least for right now.
Yeah.
This week has been the car, and I've been running that with the light ammo. And just disregarding heavy ammos. overall. So I'll use the heavy in a if I'm in a pinch and I find it in a death box, but otherwise I'm just double stacking light and running with it.
Mm.
And the way that this change is going to help me is that later in game, now anybody who's using a Spitfire will have light ammo. So there's going to be more light ammo in the economy within the game. And it's a greater chance for me to run into more light ammo. So I think that is what they're trying to do overall in the game with these changes.
Mhm.
I don't see it as a bad thing, and I'm excited to see how this actually is implemented and how it changes the dynamics of the game. But I'm excited, absolutely excited.
Okay, let's get to a little bit more. We gotta also add in here the EVA 8 is getting a slight buff, and it's not the way that I understand it is not necessarily getting a damage buff, but they're adding
Correct.
back in a stock
Mm-hmm.
for it, which is gonna help with movement,
Yeah,
and
you increase
also
your movement speed,
they're adding double tap back onto it.
and they're increasing the
So
fire rate. The base fire rate is getting increased, and then the
yeah,
bolts increased your fire rate even more now. So this is an interesting one because what you have to question is the increased fire rate going to make up enough for the lack of damage that the EVA 8 has
so
to be competitive?
you missed this before because you hadn't played Apex before, like when Peacekeeper has always been really, really good.
Yep.
But I think for the at least for this season and since we've been playing, like if you were, I am thinking like right when you drop in, like if you got a Peacekeeper, a Mozambique, and an Eva 8, which I feel like we see so many of,
So
like on
many.
the first drop, um, you're picking up a Peacekeeper if you are forced to have a shotgun.
Yep.
Most likely, there's no reason to pick up an Eva 8. There's Mozambique sucks too, so like you're gonna pick up a Peacekeeper. Now, kind of like that gap has closed a little bit,
Yep.
and in previous seasons, the gap used to be a little bit closer because you had a higher fire rate with the Eva 8. And Sean says I would rather run the Eva 8. I mean, you have less margin for error with the Eva 8 just because you have more shots and a higher fire rate. But Peacekeeper, I was playing with the firing range for a little bit today, and I played in game with it for a little bit.
Peacekeeper
I
hits
mean, it
hard.
smacks.
When
It smacks, but you got to hear shots.
when you're up close and you hit your shots and you have a little bit of opportunity to charge it,
Mm-hmm.
that thing rips.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it in a few different gunfights, and you just melt people with it if
Mm-hmm.
you're hitting correctly.
Yep.
So yes, to your point, you have to hit your shots. Um, the increased firing rate of the EVA 8 will be, I think, a little bit more user friendly and a little bit more forgiving. But with the fact that it's not increasing its damage at all, there's a drawback there. So
Oh, I misinterpreted Sean. He said I would rather run than use the evade.
I can confirm that I have done that in the past. Yes, absolutely. Um, if I absolutely have to early game, I'll pick it up. I got a cool skin for the EVA 8 in a Apex pack, so like if I want to look at something pretty, I'll carry it. But otherwise, I don't use it.
Oh my
Um,
god.
it's out of sheer necessity. So to your point, I think time will tell if this whole EVA 8 buff is really even going to be worth it or do anything. Um, I don't really have a feeling one way or the other right now, but we'll see. We'll see.
So
Time's gonna tell with this one.
So we're gonna see too because there's a few other changes that are coming with weapons, and this is what I was talking about with like the full, I guess, economy of all the guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna change gameplay. So the Volt and the G7 are also becoming ground loot again, which makes me happy. I used to run the Volt before R9 became my thing. Before the Volt was in the care packages.
Yeah, this is actually an interesting one for me too because I'm at least gonna try out the Vault because I know that a lot of people do like it, and
You gotta kit it a little bit, but it's pretty balanced. It's not super it doesn't have a whole lot of kick. Even with like base stock and all that kind of stuff. The fire rate obviously is not gonna be like an R9, so you're just used to using it as like red from the care package and it smacks. But
yeah,
once you can get it kitted, it's very balanced, it's very easy to use.
yeah, I'm excited for that to be more readily available on the ground, and I'm definitely gonna give it a fair shot. But we'll see with not being able to put a barrel on it. Is that going to change things? Um, so
Good point.
all
Good
things
point.
for us to test when
Yep.
that actually happens. So we know what's coming out of the care packages. Obviously, what is going into them is the Bocek and the Rampage. Um, Personally, I feel like the Bocek is the perfect gun to go in the care package because it's the only weapon that uses arrows in the game. So
Yeah.
there's a ton of them on the map. Like I always find arrows.
Yeah.
Um, so
I like it.
I think it's there are some people who are very very good with the Bocek. Even you're pretty good with it.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm curious to see what's on it coming out of the care package and how it performs. I think it's probably going to be even more of a beast than it already is. Um, so that is an interesting one, and it's going to be beneficial for a very certain type of player. I think it's higher skill players are going to benefit from it way more than lower skill players.
Mhm.
Whereas anybody can pick up a Volt out of a care package now and get kills with it. So this is a little interesting. And then the Rampage being in the care package, I think a base Rampage, personally, I don't like because of the low fire rate. It's not
Mhm.
my cup of tea. But having it come out of the care package, I'm hoping that it's probably going to be revved up 24/7 and you can rip with that thing.
Well, being red,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's gonna be fully kitted, so yeah.
That's going to be an interesting one. Um, so definitely going to change things a little bit. I feel like this change won't change things as much as some of these other ones that we've already talked about. But on top of that, let's see, we've got a couple other changes, just weapon specific. Um, and the 30/30, along with the longbow and the wingman, are going to be seeing skull piercer rounds return. Um, I think this is an awesome thing for the 30/30 because if you get those on, you're automatically just getting a base increase to your headshot damage.
Mhm.
And having that on top of being able to charge up the 30/30, if you hit your shots and headshots, this is an absolute damage machine. So
Mhm.
30/30 fans rejoice because this is a good one. I think Matt's going to enjoy this.
So, what's interesting about that too is I was kinda looking at, that list, the S tier or whatever, the tier list,
Yep.
and I kinda wanna bring it up here because I think it's going to change in a week, and I think we'll have a chance to talk about this again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because right now, so I was looking at the S tier included the Spitfire and R9, which is my that's my loadout right there.
Mhm.
R3, I can't remember what else. Obviously the care package guns were top, whatever it
Yep.
is. I think that was
As
considered
they should
S,
be.
A, or SS, and then A.
I feel like they
Um
should just get their own category at that
yeah,
point.
and then the 30/30 was in the bottom tier. So
Interesting.
I and that's why I find that very interesting because I was like, hmm. I mean, when I've picked it up, it's been fun to use. I could see where like if you were comparing that and like a G7, like I could see where the 30/30 honestly wouldn't even really compare because the G7 has I think a higher fire rate. I don't think the damage is that much different, and also, I mean, it does use light rounds, but like
Yeah.
it hits pretty hard. So like and I think it holds more rounds, like with the whatever with the purple mag.
Hmm.
So I could see where they put the 30/30 kind of at the bottom. Um, and Matt loves that, so I'd like to hear what his input is. But adding the skull piercer certainly helps, and I think that was probably very intentional.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the potential of the 30/30 and then obviously the wingman, if you hit your shot, all of these semi-automatic guns, if you hit your shots, they will do some serious damage.
Hmm.
But that's the drawback of having a semi-automatic gun. Your accuracy has to be on point. Sean made another good point of he really does think that season 14 is going to be the season of long range, which makes sense. I mean, I feel like with all the buffs coming to these long range weapons, the uncertainty of what SMGs are going to look like now that we're removing barrels and adding the laser sights, you just never know. And people may find comfort in knowing that the weapon they're picking up has been buffed and that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I think this is going to change things up quite a bit, and honestly, I think it's going to broaden the meta. And this almost to me is similar to what Call of Duty did with introducing the Vanguard guns, when almost everything at the start of this previous season was viable in game. And I think this is going to be something similar, where you can pick something up off the ground and be effective with it. So I'm excited about all these weapon changes.
I think it forces people to kind of change their hand a little bit. I mean, that's like I'm gonna reassess. I want to see what the Volt looks like as my secondary. And who knows? I mean, like I used to run Wingman in earlier seasons too, because the base damage was like 55. So like every time they change these and they adjust the weapons, you're kind of forced to change it up a little bit. So
Yep.
I'm excited.
Absolutely. I think change is always a good thing, and you've got to change things up quite a bit when you're not introducing new weapons for a new season. And with this being the case, I'm excited to see where the meta goes. So after this next season drops and we've got a chance to test things out, I think we'll do a tier list of our own with a post season 14 update tier list for all these weapons. We'll do that live here. So make sure you're tuning in for that, because I think that's going to be really interesting. Let's transition past the weapons. Let's talk about, we already know the new legend is going to be Vantage. We talked about that last week. So if you're interested in hearing our thoughts there, check out last week's stream. There's some map changes here. And this is one where actually I want you to take the lead, because you've got a little bit more background than I do on this. So walk us through the changes to Kings Canyon.
Now I'm really curious if Matt's still listening, because I'd love him to comment and give his thoughts here, because I think we both played more of Kings Canyon. I mean, really, that felt like the OG, like when I first started playing this game, because I think that was the first map. So a couple changes that are happening, and I think these are for the better. Skulltown is being added back into the game, being renamed, and it's being redone. So it sounded like what they're trying to do is kind of change the flow of things, because I think a lot of people in Skulltown kept getting kind of stuck. I mean, it really was like, it was a hot drop. There was good loot. And along with that, though, I don't think there was really good rotations, and people got kind of pinched. I don't know. It kind of felt like you dropped there, you didn't really have a lot of options. You were most likely going to either win your fights or you're going to die. Like, you're not making it out of Skulltown.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah, so they renamed it.
New name is Relic.
Yep. Then there was another POI. I don't remember like the actual POI name, but it's called Broken Relay, and essentially I think it was like had like a crack basically down the middle, but it had no movement in between. Like you would have to go around. So and well, essentially that made it where people just didn't even drop there. So they add zip lines and a few different things to increase the movement, to actually encourage people to use that POI.
Broken Relay has been updated and renamed to Basin.
Yep. Another one, they removed Hillside Bunker, which, if I'm thinking this is correct, I'm pretty sure that's a spot. I mean, it's literally like you kind of go up the hill, and there's like one building. It got like very campy. It got it's kind of a choke point.
Yeah, I was reading about that, and I saw a couple of the images, and it had like buildings up on the hill, and they said it essentially just turned into a stalemate on that map of like nobody's going to give up their positioning.
People hold it.
You can't transition and rotate through it because people are holding it, and it just, like you said, is a terrible choke point. So I think it's good that they're removing those buildings.
And then the final one was the cage, which I don't know if you remember the cage. It's basically like a tower, and it was closed off. But now what they did is they took off the walls because people could. There's like a zip line in the middle you can go up, and there's multiple levels.
And didn't they lower it too?
I think they lowered it as well.
Yeah. So what I
I don't
read,
think there's as many levels.
yeah. So what I read, they lowered the overall height, um, and then with the walls being opened up, you're gonna be able to shoot into it now. So you can't really just camp it, which is
Camp it.
a great thing.
I love that. I mean, I love that. All of these changes are more geared toward flow of the
Mhm.
game
Yeah,
and toward
absolutely.
people not camping these areas. He said they did. Sean said they did lower it. Um, yeah. So overall map changes. What do you think?
I think it's great. Anytime you change the map to they relit the entire thing, so lighting's going to be
Yeah.
different, which
Yeah.
always I think is when they do that. Any game I feel like is always for the better. So hopefully
Mhm.
that's the case. But anytime you're making changes to decrease the campiness of a map and increase your rotation speed and ability and the movement overall, I think is great. So I'm excited to try it out. I personally don't have the background of the previous Kings Canyon, and I know you do, which is why I wanted you to take the lead on this. So I'm curious on what your thoughts are, and we'll touch base with Matt too and get his thoughts just on what his experiences were before the changes and after. So ultimately, I think this is great, and I'm excited to dive into it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think, I really like the rotations that they have. Like they have several maps. It's funny, like reading through Twitter and like I can't remember who it was, like J God just literally tweeted Verdansk and it got so many impressions. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Just the word Verdansk,
Yeah.
which is so funny. And like everybody's just clamoring for Verdansk back or like just to fix the game. And it's nice to not feel that way about Apex. I think they kind of did when Kings Canyon initially went away. But I think people got used to the new map. And I think what also really helps is a good ranked system because
Correct.
people get very competitive on the new maps. They're forced to adapt to it. They can't just go back to the old map and they start to gain achievements. They start to gain rank on that map. They start to get the flow. They're forced to. And Apex has made changes that make sense, like they're doing with Kings Canyon, and it's all for the better. So, anyway,
All right.
overall, really good.
Next on the docket for season 14 changes, we have an increase to the overall level cap of the game. So there's essentially going to be able to like prestige now. So the level cap has gone to 2,000, which is nuts. That's a lot. So you can loop through levels 1 through
What is it?
500 4 total times now instead of
Is
just
it
being able
is
to
it
do it once.
500 right now?
It's 500. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can essentially, once you get to 500, you can prestige, go back to 1, and you're going to go back to 500. You can do that 4 total times for a total of 2,000 levels. But the great thing about this is that this guarantees every single player the ability to get an heirloom without paying any money.
Mhm.
Because with 500 levels, or sorry, with 2,000 levels, you're getting 544 Apex packs. And Apex developers literally confirmed this week. I mean, there's always been talks about it, but
Said it.
they said pretty much verbatim that on your 500th pack or within 500 packs, you get an heirloom.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of work. I mean, 2,000 levels is nothing to scoff at. That is Everest for most casual players. But if you want to grind towards something and put the time in, you can get yourself an heirloom for free. And I think this is a great change. I mean, if players can get it and put the time in and, like I said, work and grind towards something, why not offer it up?
You know what's I'm just thinking like business wise. It continuously gauges your player base because people feel better. Like it's like the same idea as having a free game.
Yep.
You get a free game, you don't pay for it. You feel like, oh, I didn't pay for the game. So like, I'm gonna keep playing it, and then like you dive into it more,
I
you
get a
start to
couple
get rank, you
cosmetics.
do whatever. Oh, yeah. Bloodhound's my main. Like
Yeah,
that's a sick skin. I'm gonna get the skin. I didn't pay for the game, so I'll buy a skin. Well, like if you're grinding 2,000 levels,
It's a
which you
lot of
feel good
time.
about because you're getting Apex packs. You're like, I'm gonna get an heirloom for free.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Like 2,000 levels, you're gonna buy some skins along the way. So
Absolutely. If you're committing the time to put in 2,000 levels, you are 100% the type of player who is going to put at least a little bit of money into the game.
yeah,
You're going to get some skins. Who knows? Maybe you'll get an heirloom before that. And then come to level 2,000 on your 500th pack, you get another one, excuse me. So I think it's a great thing. Why not allow players to work towards something greater than just the rank, which
yeah,
a ranking system is a great thing. But for the people who aren't extremely competitive, they want to play pubs and just have fun doing that. You can rank up in arenas. It's a different type of just literally putting the time in to do it.
yeah.
I think it's great.
Yep. Anything else on the procedure? Okay, we've got one more. Or at least one that I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
The gold knockdown
Yep.
got rid of the self revive.
I like this change.
So this is something that
for ranked.
This is something that makes a whole lot of sense for higher level ranked players for sure.
Yeah.
Because you think of the circle closing and there's some like crazy end games, and for somebody to get knocked and that storm at the very end, like the closing, pretty much kills you.
Yeah.
Like especially if you're fighting somebody,
Hits
like
hard.
1 or 2 hits. If you knock somebody and they have a gold and you don't, you lose the game because they have a gold. Yeah,
That's rough.
that makes a difference.
That is rough.
It makes a difference. I mean, I like the self revive in general, but I will say, I honestly like in those fights, you're most likely not escaping unless there's multiple teams and the team that killed you is distracted, because you're not crawling fast enough to really get away
Mm-hmm.
unless you can fall off an edge and self revive somehow. But like most teams, and especially in Apex, they thirst so quick. So I'm not even sure that this is really that big of a loss because it's really just like kind of serving for end games,
Yep.
And kind of a plus now. So the gold knockdown, it has quick revive basically, and it's basically acts as like the gold backpack where you get. I guess is it if you are picking somebody up and you have a gold knockdown, they res and they have higher health and shield.
I think they have 50% health and 50% shield. You get essentially like half of your overall health back off the rip. So I think that if you can get somebody over to a teammate who's downed and take yourself out of the game to revive them, and you can pull that off, I think the Guardian Angel is what it's coined in game.
Mm-hmm.
Having Guardian Angel is more beneficial to a self revive because you're getting somebody up who automatically can jump into a fight. They're not getting themselves up, and then you have to take the additional time to pop a med kit or a bat or do something. I mean, Guardian Angel is essentially the exact same as reviving yourself and then popping a bat or a med kit because you get half your health. I could make the argument that Guardian Angel is better than self revive.
Yeah.
I would die on that hill. We could argue about that. Who wants to argue with me? Let me know.
Running up that hill.
Right, yeah, running up the hill. Let me know in the comments. I'll argue with you.
I'm not going to argue. What I do want to talk about is the gold backpack, though, because it changes too.
And I like this change.
This makes a whole lot of sense, to be honest. I think they're calling it deep pockets.
Yep, correct.
And literally makes sense. Basically, for your heals, so for Phoenix kits, med kits, and batteries, it's
the big meds.
You get 2 per slot.
Well, you add 1 slot to each of the big meds. So you get 3 med kits and 3 bats, and then you get 2 Phoenix kits.
Okay, yes.
2 Phoenix kits in 1 slot is nuts. That's a big change. And bats. I'm a shield battery whore.
I mean, with 4 bats, I don't carry more than 4 bats. You do
I do.
100%. I
Anytime,
don't.
anytime, especially once I have a purple shield, if I will replace all of my cells with bats. Don't care. I'll carry 12 of them if I have to.
That's so silly.
You know what? I would rather take a little bit additional time to get my shield all the way back up than just do 1 bar, especially when you got purple and red shield.
Yeah.
I will change
Well,
my
it's good for late game. For late
yeah.
game, it makes sense.
If I find a
But
gold shield, I won't touch batteries. I'll go all cells, give batteries to my teammates who have the shields that take longer to heal up. It adds just a little bit different dynamic there. So I'm a self-proclaimed shield battery whore, and I will own that. Totally fine.
Yeah, 2 Phoenix kits in 1 slot is
It's a lot.
nuts.
It's a lot. I most of
Um,
the times I will just drop a Phoenix kit because just taking the risk of, maybe I want an extra throwable, so I'll drop a Phoenix kit.
dude,
And I'll live with that decision. But now having 2 Phoenix kits, I feel like that's going to take precedence over just 1 throwable.
mhm. Dude, you didn't play during the time when throwables used to be like 2 per slot.
That is
Unbelievable.
aggressive.
The amount of throwables that people would stack. Like, think about it. If you had only like say you had a gold backpack and you just had 4 slots of throwables, that's 8 throwables.
That's nuts.
People would literally spam the shit out of grenades and out of thermite and out of arcs. It was crazy.
It's so frustrating.
Honestly, think about it. If you were holding down a room in endgame and you just end up having 8 throwables,
Yeah.
people would just spam throwables into one room and you're dead. There's no way. You're not living.
It's obnoxious. Wyland,
It
thank you,
breaks
man.
yours.
Like the stream, make sure you sub. Appreciate you for being here. But
What's up?
it is so obnoxious to have that many throwables. I get frustrated in game when I'm getting spammed by them. I can't even imagine what it was like earlier. So that is awful, and I'm glad that's not the case anymore. And I'm glad that this changes only for the big meds, nothing else. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, just give me deep pockets. Totally makes sense for the gold backpack.
Okay, we're running down this list quick, and that's almost everything. We do have a couple cosmetic changes, which I've got some visuals that we can touch on. I think it's great. Legendary Wraith and Caustic skins coming in Season 14. I would imagine that these are going to be Battle Pass skins. They don't personally tickle my fancy, but look at that triple take skin that Wraith is holding.
That triple take is nasty.
Oh my goodness. This is, I believe, the level 100 weapon skin in the Battle Pass. And my lord, is this thing spicy.
Okay, hold on. I feel like I need to point this out because COD would do this where they would like end up buffing the gun that was getting the cool skin. So I'm wondering if they're doing any, if there'll be any patches and
hit me with it.
That just sneak a little triple take action.
I like
take buff,
as we call it, the take 3. I like picking up the take 3 and taking 3 heads off with it because it's
actually really good.
It's a fun gun to use, and it's it's got its place. I can rip some damage with it, but it's not my favorite. But I'll pick it up and I'll use it. Oh yeah, no, I know.
You missed it when it was a meta. It was a fun time. Okay, I have one more thing to bring up before we kind of jump off the skins and jump off the Apex stuff.
Let's do it.
I think we should talk about this as an overall. So we've talked about the map changes. We've talked about adding the lasers adding lasers to SMGs, taking off the barrels.
Oh, one point real quick that I wanted to touch on for those lasers. We didn't mention that those are for SMGs and pistols. So all of your pistols are gonna no longer have barrels and will have the lasers on there. Point of clarification.
Okay, cool. We've talked about all the different weapon changes, the wingman, just everything. What do you think the dynamic is going to look like? How do you think this changes the flow of the game and overall, like what do you like? Oh, give me like 2 likes, 2 dislikes. How about that?
I'm gonna give you I like the gold backpack change where you get your deep pockets with the meds. That benefits me specifically because I am a self-proclaimed shield battery whore. I like Um, the Spitfire going to light ammo also benefits my playstyle because I am a self-proclaimed light ammo whore. So more light ammo in the late game economy for me is awesome. I
Yeah.
also like the Spitfire a lot. I finished the battle pass for this previous season and got that spicy little Spitfire skin, so I'll be using it. Why not? Um, and one big question mark that I have, I'm not really sure it's a dislike, it's more of a question mark, is the close range guns, just in
Hmm.
general. What is
Yeah.
close range going to look like? Um, my concern is that, to Sean's point, this is at first glance is shaping up to be a very long range meta. Um, and with the 30-30, the buff to the wingman, that going to sniper ammo, you've got the longbow with the new hop up that you can use on their skull piercer. Like, all of that is more shaping up to be a long range meta. So is that going to slow things down in the pace of play?
Another thing to think about, because and to your point, now that there is no self revive, which was also would have been an advantage to be more close range oriented. Like you are downing teams. Like if you're long range and you down these teams, they can self res before you even get to them. Now, taking out the self res, I agree with you because you don't necessarily need the close range because if you down an entire team from long range or long
Go
and mid as you're pushing,
jump on them.
uh, yeah, I mean you don't necessarily need the close range anymore
If we do
because
see more of a long range meta shift, I'm curious what the pick rate of Ashe is going to turn into. Because with
hmm,
her ability to use her alt and jump right up on top of teams, if you can pick one off and down them, what's that? What's that dynamic of having Ashe on your team? I'm curious
hmm,
about that. That's an interesting one,
hmm,
because you can send all three right in, and if you've got a good someone who's good with the changes to the SMG, you've got a good close range. Like, I why not? It makes sense to
hmm,
me.
yeah.
Um, another really the big thing for me is the pace of play. Is a long range meta going to shift and slow things down overall?
Also, a question because hold on before we, I know I want to stop you here because is the um is the map changing for ranked again? Because we just had a change, but for season 14, is it changing?
So there are changes coming to ranked, but we don't know exactly what the changes are yet. Those are going to be
Hmm.
with the full patch notes that get released later on.
Hmm.
So I would imagine that we'll probably have a different map, but I don't know, to be honest. Time will
Because
tell. That'll be
that
something that
also
we're going to
would,
touch on in our next episode after the new season is actually launched next Tuesday.
yep. Okay.
My other concern is the charge rifle. No buff to the charge rifle. Fuck.
No nerf.
Yes, sorry. That's what I meant. No nerf to the charge rifle. I fucking hate that thing with a burning
It's
passion.
always been like this though. And honestly, I don't think like it's
They're everywhere.
yeah, but it's also like just more slightly like annoying because there's a time frame where you can kind of get away from it if you are
You Wyland. Charge rifle
chilling.
got no place in Apex. My guy.
Ah, but you can get away from it. I don't feel like it's a nuisance as much for me because I when you start to get hit by it, you're like, okay, you know you have like half a second before you can like before they actually hit you with a charge rifle.
Yeah. It's the poor man's
I don't
sniper.
know.
It's the
It's
poor
just
man's sniper. It is it's
it is annoying.
it's an excuse to give lower skilled players a chance to snipe. Because it's not just one shot. It's you've got fucking 2 full seconds of damage that you're doing to people. Different amounts of damage, of course,
Mhm.
but you've got one beam going through. I hate that thing. Get it out of Apex. You, Wyland, and I are going to start a petition. Get that shit out of the game.
Um, and okay, so I'm gonna bring up the last thing, which is really interesting because both us are just still like glowing. I still just like love Apex. Like I'm really looking forward to 15 minutes. We're about to go play for a little bit.
Plat 3 tonight.
Is some of these people as in TikTok hashtag no Apex August.
This is every game community though.
It's so funny.
This is Call of Duty is the prime example of everybody loves
It's
Call
just
of Duty
bigger.
who plays Call of Duty, and everybody fucking hates Call of Duty who plays Call of Duty. This
Yeah,
is this. I mean, if you don't want to play Apex because you don't like the changes, don't play Apex. I'm gonna
it'll
keep
help
playing
us
it
for
because
rank.
I'm enjoying it. That's fine. Don't play it. I don't care.
Especially like plats, like the really good plats and the really good diamonds. Just don't play for a little bit. We'll,
Yeah. Get out of our lobbies. Give us more golds in the plat lobbies, and we'll see what happens. Let's get the diamond before the season's over.
There's no indicator on how good we are. It's just an indication that we are really good at the game.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Hashtag no Apex August is not for me, but hey,
So I
you know
think
what?
it's
That's okay.
I think it's very silly. All right. Anything else with Apex you want to run through real quick?
I think that's it for me. I'm excited about the changes coming with season 14. Like I said, come back next week. If you're in the stream, make sure you subscribe. You'll get notifications when we go live because we're going to talk about this next Tuesday. We're actually shifting the show to next Wednesday because I'm going to be traveling, but it'll give us a little bit of an opportunity to test out season 14, get our bearings with some of these changes, and we're going to dive into them. So we went through everything that we know so far. I'm sure more things will be coming, especially with ranked. We don't know what those changes are yet. But I'm very excited for this next coming season. And, maybe I'll eat my words. If it is a long-range meta and I don't enjoy it, maybe I'm going to be annoyed. But you know what? Then I'll just be part of that No Apex August crew, and it is what it is.
Shut up. I want the close range meta to still be alive. I love it. And I can't wait to use my Volt again. I don't know if I can come off the R9 because I just am absolutely shredding with that gun right now, but
I could say the same
we'll
with the
see.
car. I do like the car quite a bit.
We'll see.
But yeah, we'll see. We're going to dive into a couple interesting headlines that we've seen over
hilarious
over the course of the last week. And I'm going to hit you one off the rip that I haven't even shared with you because it's news as of like literally, I think an hour ago. And it's just dumb. But a YouTuber has turned his toilet into a fully functioning PC. And it flushes. He can use his toilet. All of the components are stored in the back of it. There's literally a fan cutout on the top. I've got it up on stream right now if you want to take a look at it. In the tank, yeah. Fully functioning toilet. You can take a dump and not stop gaming with this toilet that he's made.
I mean, it actually like functionally makes sense because it's basically a water-cooled PC.
But not really, because the components aren't actually touching the water. He's got like a piece of this tank. I'm curious, like, what is his YouTube channel?
Wallen said he got too much time on his hands.
Like, what does he do? Yeah, what does he do? With like, I don't know. He's basically homeless. That's I think his. That's like not me explaining him. That's his YouTube channel. I'm curious, like what? I don't know. This is a weird one. It was interesting. I thought it was fun. But like, what the hell?
Oh my god.
Okay, and then literally like 10 minutes before we went live, the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer lobby image got leaked.
Oh.
Cameron Dicker, who plays for the Rams, apparently the Rams have like a player-only Call of Duty event where they get to play Modern Warfare 2 tonight or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But he put a picture of the lobby image on his Instagram, and it has since been removed, and now it's just like an image of like the event graphic. I'm not going to show it on stream because fucking Activision. But people are complaining that it looks too much like Modern Warfare. And like, sorry, dude, it's Modern Warfare 2. What do you expect?
Like Modern Warfare 2019?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like I'm looking at it right now. Like it's a combination of like Modern Warfare 2019 and Vanguard, the way that it's set up, and it's like they don't reinvent the wheel with these lobbies and the graphics. So like, why are you complaining? This goes back to my point of every game's fan base complains about everything about the game, and Call of Duty is Exhibit 1A.
I mean, it's also such a large community, so you're gonna have a percentage that's
Twitter
like
trolls.
that.
Twitter trolls are gonna troll.
Yeah.
Okay. Bren Esports owner is wanted for a $34 million drug smuggling case. Holy shit.
He actually responded directly on Twitter, by the way.
I did see that. Yeah. He's
just was like, I vehemently deny these claims.
Yeah.
Like,
he responded, he said, hello, Twitter. Some of you may be aware throughout the last few hours, there have been several news articles written about my alleged involvement in a case in my home country, the Philippines.
$34 million
Yikes.
drug
I saw
smuggling.
it was like 1.2 billion Philippine pesos or something, which is like $34 billion or however much it was. Bren Esports, if you don't know them, founded in 2017. They compete in League of Legends, CSGO. They won $140,000 in January of 2021 in a mobile League of Legends tournament. So that's cool. So like they're a reputable esports organization.
Oh, yeah.
And he is literally the founder who is just smuggling shit with his transportation company. Allegedly. Sorry. Interesting.
He has denied these claims.
Interesting. He also owns the Philippine franchise of Tim Hortons, a Canadian fast food restaurant chain. Did you know that?
Pretty wild. No.
Tim Hortons is
snitching.
Amazing. And by the way, if you've never had Tim Hortons, it's great. Go to Michigan and try it.
You Wyland, by the way, you Wyland said SMH who's snitching. I mean,
retweet.
$34 million. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like it was like a cargo ship kind of deal. Like, that's a lot of drugs.
This is some international crime at the Manila International Container Port. So
yeah, they figured out why. Sean goes, Timmy's.
Yeah, I knew he was here. I can get him going with Tim Hortons any day of the week. So yeah, this whole thing is interesting. He said double and maple dip for days. Sean and I have actually been to a Tim Hortons together. It's a great place. Has a little soft spot in my heart. Okay, next one on the list. This is a little bit of a combination of two of our interests in the gaming world and the bourbon world. Assassin's Creed is creating a bourbon.
It's so wild.
I think it's awesome. Why not? I kind of want to buy.
I mean, it's kind of hilarious because like everybody just kind of jump in the bourbon game, like just cause like these games.
Doc,
a game.
Yep.
Yeah, Doc.
So it says leap into history and celebrate 15 years of working in the dark to serve the light. They're working with Tennessee Legend Distillery, and it'll be Assassin's Creed straight bourbon whiskey. Have you ever heard of Tennessee Legend?
No,
I haven't either. Probably a little small distillery, but kind of want to try it. Don't know where it's
pretty
available.
Cool.
Don't know when it's available, but we'll find out.
Yeah, pretty sweet. Okay, let's move on.
Off the rip, we're gonna keep rolling. We've got Doc's new game. Midnight Society has officially released the name of their new game. It's called Dead Drop, and it's spelled with one D in the middle. So is it Dead Rop or Dead Drop?
Dead Drop.
Or
Dead Drop.
Dead Drop. I don't really know. But it's interesting because the way that it seems like we're going to be getting information about this game is that it's going to come out in 6-week cycles. In every 6 weeks, from what I've read, is there should be a new playable version of the game for the NFT holders. The first 10,000 people who bought the NFT for this game are going to have access to play it. Interesting as the utility for the game right now in holding that NFT. There's no actual information on what the future utility is going to be for that, but I mean, it gets you early access, which is cool, and it sounds like it'll change every 6 weeks as new things come out. So Dead Drop, is a vertical extraction shooter. The way that I've heard it being described is like you start on the ground floor of a building and you have to get up to the roof, and it's a battle royale. There are teams throughout. We don't know exactly what player count's going to be, how many teams there are. All of that is still up in the air. But there's like a fire. I think it's a fire. I'm not 100% sure. Like climbing the tower with you, and that's like in Warzone or in Apex, that's the gas or the storm that's pushing you up. So you're forced upwards, and the team to get to the roof and extract out of the vertical building is the one who wins. So I like the different thought of a battle royale here and just rethinking what you can do. I'm interested for sure. I'm not blown away by the initial gameplay that has come out. It looks, for all the hype that Doc has put behind this and some of the shit talking towards other games and him saying that this is going to be the best game possible, all of that, I wasn't wowed by what I've seen.
And that's what like brought my attention to this, was because Doc like had some clip where he was like, this looks, I can pull a screenshot right now from my game and it would look better than anything that they're putting out for Modern Warfare 2. And I was like, okay, all right, let's take a look.
Doc talks his shit, and I respect the hell out of him.
I get it. Yeah. I get it.
But I disagree.
But you watch the video of Dead Drop and you're like,
I don't know. Maybe. So,
maybe you shouldn't say that. I don't know. I mean, bring attention to your game. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, ultimately, he is going to be hyping this game up 10 days out of the week because it's his game. It's his studio. This is what he's put so much work into. I'd still like to play it. I'd like to give it a shot when it comes out officially. We don't know exactly when it's going to be releasing. So there's more information that's going to be coming on this. Like I said, hopefully in 6 weeks we'll know more. But
you Allens goes, Doc, stop the cap.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Go watch the video, watch the trailer yourself. This is interesting, like being in the firing range and watching. I mean, like the dynamics of the guns and stuff, like it's very similar to COD. But
I like that there's a firing range. Hopefully, the firing range isn't just like the initial tutorial to the game, and you can actually go in like an Apex and go in whenever you want in practice. I do like that. So we'll see. We're gonna touch on it later on as we learn more information. Like I said, I'll definitely be trying it out. I think it's worth a shot. I'm 100% down to try any new battle royale that comes out. I will reserve my judgments for the final version of the game.
Final version, yes.
Initially, I'm not wowed, but I'm still interested. So here we are. And that's all we got. That's going to wrap us up for this week, because unless you got any surprise headlines for me, that's all I've got.
Only other one was just that Activision did confirm Warzone 2 is going to launch in 2022.
Yeah, which we knew that. That's fine.
I mean, yeah.
Last thing. I am the Fall Guys king, champion of the West.
Did you like it?
Thank you. Everybody can bow down to me with all the crowns that I have. Yeah, Fall Guys is fucking fun. Christy and I played it together.
Maybe play it later.
I played it with Sean. It's fun. It is the most mindless game you will ever play, but it's great. I played 4 games. The first game, I got second place, and then the next 3 games, I got first place and have 3 crowns now. So,
big crown guy.
It's in the chat, man. What are you doing, dude? That's all I have to say. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be live next week. We're going to talk a little bit more about Season 14 after it actually comes out. We appreciate you. If you're listening on any of your podcast platforms, make sure to subscribe there. Leave us a review. All the support helps, and we appreciate you guys. See you next week.
Fair enough. See you.